this screencast, I'm going to be showing you how to vectorize your face. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and get to the layer palette. And as I showed you how to do the outline, what we're going to first do is we're going to take this layer, and I'm going to take the image, and I'm going to save this one. I'm going to make a duplicate layer. And I do that right on the top here of the layer palette. And I'll hit OK. And on this second layer here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Image, Adjustments, Desaturate. Then I'm going to make another duplicate layer. And I'm going to take that layer and I'm going to go Image, Adjustments, Invert. Now we're going to go into the layer palette and we're going to go into the blending mode, and it's normal right now, and we're going to go color dodge. And you'll notice that it gets white. And then we're going to go up to filter, blur, Gaussian blur. And it's here you'll start seeing the outlines of our subject come in. And you're going to go ahead and just make it so that you have the just general outlines. Now the key here also is that you want to make sure that your layer palettes are nice and organized. And right now, if I wanted to, I could certainly go ahead and hold down my Shift key and select all these layers here and go ahead and go New Group. And I'm just going to call it Background Face. And hit OK. And now you'll notice, oops, they didn't get into that layer. So I can just go ahead and drag them in there if I have to. Oops. Try that again. Oh, it's not going to let me do that because this is a background layer, and that's fine. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start determining how I'm going to be drawing out the shapes. And again, the tools that we're going to be using for this are the pen tool. And the convert tool, and the other tool we have down here again is the path selection tool and the direct selection tool. When I go to the pen tool, I want to make sure that in my options bar that I am on shape. Now if I want to fill, I can have it on a fill right now, but just to make it easier to do the lines and the drawing, I'm just going to go no color for now and no stroke. And the first thing I'm going to do is just do the outline of the face. And I'm going to zoom this in so you can kind of get a better idea of how I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to take my pen tool and I'm going to go to a starting point. And I've made my first tool. Now I've got a curve here, and I'm just going to go back up to here, and I'm going to hold down my mouse and drag out that layer. And I'm going to drag the handle out till I get the curve I want. At this point, when I go to my next point, I'm going to still be in a curve mode, but it's not necessarily going to be curving the way I want it to. So to change it back to a straight point, because I can always pull the arms out and make it a curve, so I'm going to go to my Option key, and I'm going to drag it in to the point, and now it goes back to a straight line, as you can see. But as I hold down my mouse while I do it, I can go ahead and make the curve. And so I'm just going ahead and grabbing my Option key and bringing it back so I don't have to worry about changing the way of the curves. Now you could get really intricate here and get all those curves in, but we're just going to go ahead and get the basic curves, and you can always go back and change them later. I'm going to go Option. I got a nice curve going here, so I'm just going to come up here, get that curve, Option. Come down here, get the other curve, Option, and then go ahead and continue through the face. Now because the hair is going to be covering some of this area, I'm not going to worry about how I make the lines in here. I'm just going to go ahead and bring it back down here until I get to here, and then I know that I want another curve, Option. Got another curve here, Option, and a nice little curve here, Option, a nice curve here, Option, bring it in, and to get the handbar to come up so I can, if I'm zoomed in and I can move it around, what I'm doing is I'm just holding down my space bar so that the hand tool comes up and it will bring me back to the same tool that I've been working on. Option, little bit of a curve there, Option, got a nice curve here, Option, straight line, and then this is my end point here. You can see the little circle come up, click down, hold the arm down, make my last curve. Okay, and so now I'll just go Command 0 and get it back in there, and if I go up to the fill, you'll see that I've made the face layer. Now when you get going, it's probably best right away to go over to your layer, and I'm going to just double click on shape 1 and I'm going to call it face. Now I can go ahead and turn this off, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the hair. So again, I'm just going to go ahead and do my curves, and again Option key, and you know, you got some slight curves. You can see that I have my fill on here, and that's where it comes in handy if you want to turn off the fill, and I can go up here right now and turn it off. And I can go, and I'm not going to worry about the hair strands that are out underneath here. I can do something later with that if I want to give more detail. But I'm just getting the basic curves here. Option. Get them another curve. Another curve, just slight. And got kind of a little curve there. Little curve there. Little curve there. We got some shadows going on in here, so I'm going to go ahead and make the hairline up a little bit. And we got a little curve there. Option, bring it in. And a slight curve there. Okay, now I got the hair there. And again, I can go to the fill, and I can give it a hair color if I want. And again, presto. Bring the face up. And you see I've got the hair and the curve. And I'm going to do the same thing for the t-shirt. Line there. Option, Shift. Come down here. Option, Shift. And you notice I got the fill on again and makes it hard to see. And then bring the curve down. Oops. And the problem is I got too close to the other line, and so it wanted to click in there. I'm just going to make the t-shirt a little larger that way. And go ahead and just bring it out like that. And I can go ahead and put a fill in that as well. And I got my shirt. Now, again, go back, double click, call it hair, double click here, and call it shirt. And I can go ahead and turn these off, and now I'm ready to work with the eye. So when I get in here, first thing I'm going to do is, what do I want to be underneath? I know I want the white of the eye to probably be the lowest layer, then the iris, the pupil lights, and then I'll do the eyelid, crease of the eyelid, and the eyebrow. So now I could use a pen tool for the iris, but I am going to use it for the white of the eye. So just go around, and I'm going to top up here, Option, bring the white of the eye down here, Option. Again, I got my fill layer on that goes to the last color it was at. Okay, and I can just go in there and change that as well, back to a white, and call it the white of the eye. Okay, and turn it off. Now I'm going to do the iris. Well, I can go down to the shape tool and go to my ellipse tool, and I'm going to actually make the iris, because Let's do this differently. I'm going to make it a little smaller than that. There we go. Okay, because the eyelids are going to be covering that area as well. And what I can do here, which is really nice, let's say I want to do a brown fill on his eyes, okay? And I can also give it a stroke, and probably just, you know, a very light stroke, and going to give it a little brown stroke, and you can see, and maybe I would do like a 0.1. Let's try that. And you can see, okay, so it's a very, you can see it's a very small stroke there. I'm going to get rid of that second shape. I just did another second shape. Okay, and if I wanted to, I could go in here and make it a 0.2 if I wanted a little bit more broad. You can see that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and turn that off in the layers and call it iris. Whoops. Turn that off. And now I'm going to go ahead and make the pupil. And fill it with black. And go up to my layers and call it pupil. And then turn that off. And I've got the little white lights of the pupil. I'm just going to call that white pupil. And change that to a white, and that's where the lights come in. Okay, and I have another little one here actually. I can do the same thing. Go back to layer palette, to white pupil. Okay, so now when I go back and turn these all on, you can see that I have my eye all started here. So now the next shape I'm going to do is the outline of the eye. So what I'm going to do, take my pen tool, I'm going to start here, and it comes up about like that. I'm going to take my Option key, I'm going to go down here, and rather than continuing on and doing it all at once, and I'm going to turn this off, I'm going to come in here, Option, come in here, Option, and I'm just going to call it upper eyelid. I'm going to do the same thing down here. And I'm going to kind of come up over here a little bit, do my Option key, come in here, get a little bit of shading going on there. But I got some real thin lines here. I got kind of this area here, so I'll probably go into here, just do a nice thin line, come up over here, and now I've got the bottom eyelid. And remember, you can go back and change the colors as you need to. And then I have the crease of the eyelid here, come up here, again, do my Option key, come down here, and like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect, and you can always go back in there and change it. And I think what I got a stroke going on here, so that's what's going on there. I'll turn that off in a second. Okay, so I got the stroke of the eyelid there. I'll call it crease of eyelid. Okay, and then got the basic eyebrows here. Oh, and that's where, this is why Option comes in handy, because I can move that in and I can change the arc of my curve. And we'll call that eyebrow.